You're about to listen to episode 33 of Fresh Floppies.
If they decide to not hit pause or stop now.
Don't do that.
Don't listen?
Well, no, don't hit pause.
Don't hit pause. Oh, yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
Hey.
You're doing great.
What's up to our sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the Geek Nation? You're listening to a revolutionary podcast. I don't know why you're laughing. This is revolutionary. It's
And
something revolutionary. We talk about comics, and we don't just talk about comics. We talk about we discuss the importance, the verisimilitude, the types of narratives that draw you in comic books. But we do it specifically in the small window of when they are new as periodicals. Some might call them floppies.
Yeah. And we are here to determine which level of freshness those floppies are at.
Yes, which level of freshness, the levels of which are arbitrary.
Completely made up.
And the change on a dime. From book to book, they might change. Yeah. But yeah, we're going to talk about all the or some of the comic books that came out this week, spoiler free.
Yes.
And you're gonna like it. Or we'll come get ya.
Titans Beast World. The epic event starts here from Dawn of DC. It's a number one. It's by Tom Taylor and Yvonne Reese. And I'm going to, right off the bat, the presentation, it's a thickie. It's like a double thick kind of book.
Yeah, it's not quite a double issue. Maybe 40 pages.
But the cover is not cardboard. It's not a
No, it's a
cardstock.
It's a good baby.
Yeah, but it's thick. It's nice. Tom Taylor has been writing Nightwing, which is one of our favorite books on the shelves. And then, to my delight, he started writing the Titans. To my dismay, though, I have not kept up with the Titans, and I've only read like the first 2 issues. But here we have Titans Beast World, which is a crossover event. Is it called a crossover? If it's not, I mean, it's going through several miniseries.
No, I don't think it's a crossover. I think it's just a Titans folk or DC event, because in all the crossover books, they're all one shots that they're not taking over other books.
That's a good point.
Crossovers are taking over the other books. I don't even think they're taking over Titans. Like
Titans is part of it. So yeah, Titans number 7 will be part of it.
Oh, there you go.
Number 6 will be part of it. There's a nice
6 and 7
checklist.
That's the only book. That's the only like main title that it's crossing over with. Other than that, no.
The very first thing on the top of my yay list was Yvonne Reese is back drawing a book. I feel like I haven't seen him for a while. I don't know where he's been.
Well, he was doing Bendis' Superman.
Yeah, that was years ago, right?
Yeah, it was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, maybe he was taking a little snooze. I don't know. But he's one of my favorite contemporary artists, and I was very happy to find out that not only did he do the cover, he also did the interiors, and it's a glorious, gorgeous-looking book. And I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this. I shouldn't have been surprised because I love Tom Taylor. But from I have the Stuck in My Crawl about Dark Crisis, which is Josh Williamson, a big DC event. And then there was Lazarus Planet, another DC event.
I straight up interrupted his thought because we found out that the recording was him in a wind tunnel.
Turns out you need to turn your mic on?
Yeah, turns out we need to actually like test things before we start. But whatever.
What did you think of Titans Beast World?
Titans Beast World was radtacular? No,
I hate it.
This was
I hate that word.
I was predisposed to enjoy this, and they were correct. I've been reading Titans. The issue 5 ended with an interesting cliffhanger.
Okay.
That led immediately into this book, and I was wondering like how important that would feel or be. And it was mildly important. The brother blood or father or
Blood Daddy.
He's got a new name, but apparently they're redoing the church. And then it's revealed at the end of issue 5 that he's secretly a Tamaranian.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is immediately the beginning of this.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily need to know that, but that was like a cool little reveal that happened in the Titans book.
I did not know when I opened up this book who that guy was.
I
didn't know that was Daddy Blood.
That's the only and Garth. No, yeah, Garth. Not Gar. Garth. Aqualad is under his spell. So yeah, all of that stuff with him being a blah blah blah.
Right on.
But yeah, it only mildly connects. You don't necessarily need to know just that they're cult people.
Yeah, that's what I was like, okay, cult, got it.
And then Corey immediately is just like, that is a Titan of Temerian and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so you're good.
Everything's explained.
This was cool. And I feel I was so scared for Garfield.
Yeah,
I'm so worried about him, and that is awesome.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. He's a character that's grown on me. Normally he's the jokey kid, you know? So, really, his relationship with Raven and sort of the tiny little beats that they give them peppered throughout this issue, I felt it. I loved it.
So, again, in issue 5 of Titans, I'm going to talk about these books together because I read them together and they do kind of lead into each other. They set up some... I haven't read tons of Beast Boy or tons of Titans, but they set up some really fun... rules for how Beast Boy transforms.
Oh.
Like, he can become a swarm of bees. Great.
What?
But if some of them get stomped on or killed, just a little bit of him, he says he feels a little bit of him missing. Or a little, they're setting up parameters and rules to kind of how and what he can do, even though he could do great things. Yeah. Even in this issue. So it's kind of on the cover, and also it was in the solicits, so I don't feel bad kind of spoiling this part. He has to make himself very, very, very big. Yeah. The size of a conqueror of sorts. Yeah. But in order to do that, he has to do it in increments, and it hurts. Yeah. So, like, he's got to become a whale first because he needs a bigger brain in order to, so...
Yeah,
Tom
I love
Taylor,
that bit.
Yeah, Tom Taylor is setting up rules. He's setting up rules for Beast Boy. If it's a different mass, he has to, inch up to it or scale down to it. If he's a swarm of bugs and some of them get killed, that is parts of him. Yeah, he feels that.
I love that.
So reading that and then how this issue turns out, I'm like, oh, fuck, Garth.
Oh, Garth.
No, Garfield, no. Which is A+. That, the fact that it's emotionally affecting me in a comic, I'm like, yeah, this is great.
And also, I just like the Titans. So, there are people who are Justice League people, and right now the Justice League does not exist because of the Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, and now the Titans are the main team of the DC universe, and that delights me to no end. I can't wait to catch up on it. I just love these characters. I love Nightwing more than I like Batman, etc. So,
I want them to keep the JLA away for another year or two.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I don't think the Titans have had a chance to really breathe. Their main book is only 5 issues in. This is their first
event?
Large world event.
Yeah.
Batman is there, Superman is there, but they're deferring to the main squad. They're just, hey, good ideas, but what else? I like this dynamic. I like it a lot, and I want it to stick around for a while. But I don't know. I'm sure by summertime we'll be hearing about the return of the JLA, and I think that might be too soon.
I mean, it's not like the characters are gone. Batman's here. Wonder Woman's here.
I am very much digging how, aside from the rando nightmares...
Night terrors.
Night terrors. Aside from something like that where you literally stop the books for 2 months, I really do like how they're dealing with the Dawn of DC in general. Everybody has a corner, and they're digging in it. It doesn't... Something that happens in the Titans book is not explicitly being reflected in Superman, but they don't contradict each other either.
Yeah.
You don't have to have explicit connections, but you also don't have to make everything inorganically sound stupid. I like this a lot, and I want it to keep going for a while.
I like the way it ended. It was a nice surprise for me.
And this is only a 2-month event.
Great.
That's probably where Ivan Reis has been.
Yeah, just drawing this for the past 3 years.
Yeah, they pre-solicited it forever ago.
Well, I'm on board. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, this is fun.
And then, speaking of catching up on things, Amazing Spider-Man, we've been catching up on that, the Zeb Wells run. The much-beloved Zeb Wells run. Everyone is touting it.
I cannot go to any corner of the internet without high praise for this book. People are beside themselves. They're naming their children Paul. They love Jackpot. Rec Rap. I've seen Rec Rap tattoos everywhere on faces. This is the most popular I've ever seen Peter Parker's book.
So Amazing Spider-Man Gang War First Strike. It's a new #1, and it's kicking off the Gang War event that's going to be basically just in the Spidey corner. Well, no, let's say the ground levels of Marvel. So it's going to be running through Amazing, Luke Cage, Spider-Woman, Daredevil, but also their own little miniseries. So it's Daredevil Gang War, not Daredevil. It's Luke Cage Gang War, not Luke Cage. I don't know if all of that is completely necessary. It seems like a very big event that's going to go through March.
26.
Too many.
26 issues.
I'm calling it now. Too many.
I've seen worse.
Sure. I didn't read them. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think maybe Death Metal was the worst.
Oh, I was going to say Star Trek.
That was actually like 49
Yeah.
issues
Yeah, I'm trying to
of
remember
things.
what the War of the Bounty Hunters was. And
War of the Bounty Hunters was only like maybe 30,
38 or something
30
like that.
something, like 35.
Yeah.
So everyone that reads these events needs to understand something.
Oh.
The event itself is usually self-contained in one book.
Mm-hmm.
For this, it's going to be the Amazing Spider-Man book. You can just read that.
Yeah.
You do not have to feel required to read everything with the banner.
Yeah.
Just pick and choose what you want to read.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of the complaining about, like, why is there so much? Why is there so much? You don't have to read it.
Right.
You should just chill. Like, I am reading the Omega Alpha issues or whatever, which is we're going to talk about, and Amazing Spider-Man. I like some Shang-Chi. Maybe I'll pick that book up.
Yeah.
But do I need the way that these always work? And it blows my mind that people still don't understand this. The way that this works is you've got a main narrative and a shit ton of side stories.
Yeah.
If you're under the pretenses that the side stories are required reading, stop.
Yeah, you don't need to.
You do what you want. You read what you want. Just be very clear with my mic jumped at me because he doesn't agree. Just be very clear with your retailer. Like,
Yeah,
I
what you
would
want.
like this. I would not like this because you're going to get it all or you're going to get none of it.
Yeah. So what did you think of Gang War First Strike?
I think the story is dope. I think the art is hard.
Like, it goes hard, or it's hard to take?
It's hard to take. So, like, I think there's like 5 artists. Wait,
Oh, is there?
no, there's only like 2. Joey Vasquez and Julian Shaw. The book starts out strong. It's a very no, it doesn't start out strong. I did not like the art in this book. But I loved the story.
Oh, great.
And I loved the Miles and Peter of it all.
Oh, the Miles and Peter was my favorite scene,
Awesome.
actually.
I loved they've been setting this up for a little while now.
With Randy Roberts. I'm sorry. Yeah, Randy.
Randy.
Yeah, Randy and his girlfriend.
Janice,
Who are
Randy and
supposed to get
Janice, who's the daughter of Tombstone. Tombstone is in a coma, so she's fighting to keep her dad's territory out of loyalty. At the same time, Devil's Reign begat Fisk's Law, which is no vigilantes in New York.
Right.
So they're trying to reverse that with Luke Cage as the mayor, but it's not working. And this is just fun street level Spider-Man shit, and I loved it. Like I love all of the gang leaders fighting. I love the Miles and Peter conversation. I love that. I do love that Luke Cage as mayor. I think in other stories it'd be like, I'm fixing it, but I think we all know at this point that nothing is easy in politics.
Yeah.
So he literally is fighting to get a small delegation to maybe think about voting on the law again.
Yeah.
and that's oddly realistic to me.
I was less interested in the actual gang war itself than I am the little moments that are peppered throughout the issue. I really like the Miles and Peter. I really liked Randy having to talk to Janice, who is also the what is she?
Beetle something.
The Beetle. Yeah, she's the new Beetle.
Just the Beetle?
Yeah, just the new Beetle. And stuff like that. And then the stuff that Zeb Wells has been doing with Robert Robertson and Tombstone over the past 20-odd issues of Amazing Spider-Man has been really fun, too, because they have a long, storied history from, like, the 80s and 90s.
And now their children are
dating.
Yeah.
Engaged. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And I there's a twist reveal that's pretty grotesque that I wasn't surprised by. I was more kind of like fist pumpy about because I really like the character that was revealed. I love her.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I don't have a lot of experience with her except for like Brian Michael Bendis' version of her.
Used her a lot.
Yeah.
In multiple series. Like he used her in Iron Man also. as a main
yeah,
foil
yeah.
in
I
Iron
remember,
Man, which
yeah,
was
yeah.
wonderful. I'm enjoying this. I think this is really fun. I hope so. I liked what was the dark one?
The Dark what?
The Dark Web. I liked Dark Web.
Yeah, I
was fine with it.
Yeah, yeah.
I like Dark Web, but I hope and think that this might be a little bit more fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like this will be different.
Yeah.
I like when Spider-Man goes weird, but this seems to be a little bit more back to basics. Like you've got a small group of street level superheroes having to deal with just really shitty people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I like it.
Magia.
Yeah.
Oh,
The magia.
I really like in the very first page after the catch you up on previously on.
Mhm.
There's a map that tells you who has what, who are the players that are involved, and what section of the city do they have?
Yeah.
Do they control the underground of?
It was hella useful because honestly, up since Bendis' Defenders, I forgot Diamondback even exists.
Yeah. Looking at this map, I was kind of like, man, that's a lot of players. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's Amazing Spider-Man. I've been enjoying this run for the most part since it started 2 years
Hobgoblin
ago.
Hobgoblin has a territory?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right.
I think we've been seeing him in Miles Morales.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, which I haven't had a chance to catch up on yet.
Yeah, this is a really fun book, and you can just pick this up if you want to kind of just jump into Spider-Man really quickly, without reading the previous 30 issues. You can just jump into this First Strike issue and give it a shot. I really like Zeb Wells' run.
Yeah, it's fun.
This is the longest I've been reading Spider-Man. Continually.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I've been reading it since
I dropped off the Spencer run
90s.
around issue 28 or 29 right
Yeah.
after Hunted.
I kept going.
This is the longest, other than Ultimate Spider-Man. This is the longest stretch of amazing in issues I've read.
That's awesome. I love to hear it. Wonder Woman by Tom King has started several months ago. And the reason we're talking about it this week is because they did something kind of neat. Wonder Woman 1 and Wonder Woman 2 came out. They sold out. I think they went to second printings. And now they've done something called the Outlaw Edition, which is a single bound issue, double-sized, obviously, because it's collecting 1 and 2 together in one issue. And then
What's
and
the
actually
price point?
a small, like I want to say 6-page preview of issue 3 is in there as well. And the
$5.99?
price point is $6.99.
That's awesome. They're $3.99 issues. You actually save.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, I did not read issue 2. We both read issue 1, and I believe both loved it.
Yeah, I have read issue 1 and 2. Loved them both. This book is straight up phenomenal.
Baller.
Just awesome.
Very good.
Just absolutely awesome.
If
Let's talk
you
about
don't-
Danielle St. Pierre.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. So, neither of us liked Dark Crisis very much.
I liked it more than you, and I'm
Yeah.
going to reread it. Yeah.
But Daniel St. Pierre, when I first started reading that series, I was like, oh, I don't really know this guy. He did some stuff here and there. I kind of recognized him, but I didn't really pay much mind to him. And I was kind of like, oh, he seems like one of those, just like a house style kind of guy.
Style House.
Style. And but with Wonder Woman, it seems like he's really upped his game, and it is a gorgeous looking book. Every panel is really well done, and if you like a lot of words, you'll like this book.
It's a Tom King book.
Even for Tom King, I was like, man, there is a lot of words in this.
There's some current Tom King you're not reading that are
right.
novels compared to this book.
Danger Street,
Danger Street. Even Penguin is pretty mouthy. But
it wasn't. I wasn't bothered. I sat there. I was involved the whole time.
It's a bit of a
absorbed.
meal. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this book. Daniel St. Pierre. I knew him a little bit before Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths because he was the Superman. He's a Superman artist for the first chunks of Warworld.
Oh.
And I didn't finish Warworld yet, but I read 2/3 of it, and I was like, this guy's slick.
Solid?
Yeah, he's very solid. You're right. More of a house style, especially DC's house style. It's. I don't mean this mean. It's more by the numbers. DC house style is more by the numbers. If you close your eyes and imagine superhero as DC house style, there's really no there's no stretchiness of the format. It's very So I was like, oh, this is solid for house style. But I think the back half of Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, I was more impressed with St. Pierre, and I'm excited about it. Yeah, so I was primed to like this book. It's, excellent creative team. I haven't read the third issue yet, but I'm very,
Same.
very excited.
It's basically there has been an event that takes place that involves a Amazonian.
Can you see what I mean? It's 3 issues ago. 2
She
issues
murders
ago.
a bar full of dudes.
An Amazonian murders a bar full of dudes,
Yeah.
and then it becomes a giant political
Political-
nightmare because
yeah.
Amazonians are ambassadors.
Yeah.
Like they're UN ambassadors. They're foreign dignitaries. So a very reactionary American government decides to export and deport
Yeah.
all Amazonians, no matter what they are and where they are, and it just becomes a giant political thing.
And she's basically going to head with Sergeant Steele,
Yep.
who's a little bit different than I remember him being. Maybe I'm thinking of him from like.
I don't remember him at all.
Oh, wasn't
Yeah.
he? Wasn't he one of the dudes in the? What the hell was that book?
I don't know.
The Justice League.
Farts. What? No. International?
Darwin Cook.
Oh, I don't know.
I feel like he was in
New
that. He was like
Frontier?
a New Frontier. It was a very different sort of character, but maybe I'm thinking of a very different character. Anyway, yeah, this dude's brutal.
Yeah, it's absolutely brutal.
Yeah, and I can see that people who
Wait, were you
don't.
thinking Sergeant Rock?
Maybe no, I know who Sergeant Rock is. But maybe.
The Task Force X, the original Task Force X and stuff. But whatever. I don't know. I don't remember Sergeant Steele at all.
I could see the people who get upset about woke things being upset about this book because she's a strong woman and there's a very specific sort of there's a political thing and then there's
hardcore
sort of men versus women kind of
Yeah.
vibe too. But I am eating it up. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's super good. It's also like I feel like it's reductive, or it's unfair to reduce this to specific like theme versus theme, because we alluded to it before. Tom King doesn't do anything without thought or without thoughtfulness. And that's why the books are usually a little wordier than most comics, because it's not the dialogue. It's the text boxes. It's the interior. It's the interior dialogue. It's the scene setting that is always like very verbose. But when you break it down to actually like characters talking to each other, it's usually pretty sparse.
That's true.
But yeah, no, it's a meaty book, but in the best way possible. I really love this series.
His books of the past several years are the ones that made me go, this is why I like reading comic books.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm down with that.
They re-spark my enjoyment of the medium.
Yeah, the series are becoming ubiquitous. Like he's always got something going on.
Yeah.
Like and nobody talks about them, or at least like out of 5 series that he'll do that are all really strong, maybe one will hit really hard. So
Yeah.
like Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow hit really hard, but at the same time he was crushing it with
Human Target?
Human Target, Gotham Year One,
Yeah.
the beginning of Danger Street, like.
Got a lot of pies. He's spinning a lot of pies.
There's more hits than misses.
For sure.
Actually, I think in my head there's only like 1 miss. It's Heroes in Crisis.
Oh, right. I always forget about that book.
Yeah, and I don't consider his Batman run a miss. It's a net positive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of Batman.
Oh no! Before we speak of Batman,
well,
let's
let's not speak of Batman.
let's talk about Fire. I want to talk really quickly about Robert Kirkman and Chris Samnee's Firepower. Issue 29 came out this week. Issue 30 is the end.
Oh my God.
It's the last issue, and we'll never see these characters again.
I really got to catch up
It's
because I love
forever.
this book.
I love this book too. It's wonderful. It's a supernatural kung fu movie. It's supernatural kung fu married with The Incredibles.
So,
it's a family.
The thing
it's a
when
family
people
of
come in,
yeah.
I say it's a little bit of The Last Airbender, a little bit of maybe Shang-Chi, with the mystical mountain Kunlun sort of temple, and then The Incredibles.
Yeah, it's a family of superheroes. It's fun. This is a really, really fun book, but much like a lot of Robert Kirkman stuff, it's really, really fun, and then all of a sudden it gets deadly serious, but then it still maintains its fun. It's interesting.
I had a customer come
but
in who was like, I need something like a feel-good book, and I was like, what? Oh, I got it.
Yeah,
It was
Firepower
this.
is a really good one.
The hardcover, yeah. Go ahead.
But this is a wonderful book. Chris Samnee is co-credited. Like, I think Samnee actually obviously writes with him or breaks down with him. They don't delineate. It's the best art. It's very visually driven, to its detriment sometimes, because it'll be mildly yada yada storytelling, but just very beautiful and very well done. So you're just like, okay, like this does. I think this has a couple of Kirkman tropes in it that are not my favorite, but the art is just so wonderful, and it's such a breezy, crisp story. Anyway, it doesn't really bother me. It's when things become self-serious that my least favorite habits of Kirkman's kind of bubble to the surface a little harder. But this is a great book. And
Net positive?
It's beyond a net positive. No, it's this. Yeah, this is a wonderful book. This is incredibly fresh. Everyone should read Firepower. It's going to be a tight 30 issues when it's all done, and anything Chris Samnee draws, you should give a shot.
I like Chris Samnee so much that he had done a thing. He does a thing every year called Battober.
Yeah,
it's basically just different awesome Batman drawings or Batman-related drawings through the month of October, and he had put all the original drawings up on eBay. I went to eBay, and I went to the different listings just so I could screenshot the pieces and keep them on my phone to look at. That's how much I like this guy.
Do you hear that, Mr. Somney? JD has stolen your artwork.
That's true. Just look at it. Speaking of Batman.
Well, speaking of Batman off week, last week something came out. We didn't record last week, but something came out that I think we should talk about, and that's Batman Off-World #1.
From Jason Aaron and Doug Mahnke.
Mr. Mahnke.
Yeah.
This is Jason Aaron's debut at DC.
Mm-hmm.
He has never professionally written DC characters, and he jumped right in with Batman. So, no spoilers. I thought this book was absolutely phenomenal, but I want to make a comparison. For years, Daredevil was such a dour book.
Yes.
Still is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you had Bendis's run for like 6 years, and then Brubaker's run for like 5 years, or less than 5 years. But it was
dark.
How dark can we make this book? How much can we torture Matt? Who can we kill? Who can we make crazy? Like it started to feel like an abyss of a book as opposed to noir.
Yeah.
Which, excellent book, but
I liked it.
Needed a breather.
Yeah.
And then in comes Mark Waid. And makes it a swashbuckling book, a little brighter. He didn't negate anything that happened before it.
Nope.
He literally just said, Matt as a character is tired of feeling like this, so he's going to suppress it and or ignore it, and we're going to do this. Like, it was...
Make the effort.
A lot of people freaked out, but it was a breath of fresh air, and I think it's what the character needed. Now,
it was a great run.
My problem with Batman over the last couple of years is that it is... It's not so much a dark book, but you're not allowed to have fun with it. Batman's not allowed to have fun. Batman's not allowed to do anything outside of the borders of his specific rogues gallery, and he's always the asshole in the room and blah, blah, blah. I read this, and I immediately felt like reading that first issue of Daredevil from Mark Waid, where it's like, oh my God, Batman's allowed to be an adventurer. Batman's allowed to have fun. The characterization,
but still within the confines of his character.
His characterization and also his motivation for being off-world is so very Batman and so very like myopically Batman, where it's so stupid. But he would do that because he's that obsessed.
Because he's insane.
Yeah. But the story itself is almost like swashbuckling adventure, and his his inner dialogue is quirky and almost funny.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved this. I loved every fucking page of this. Yeah. This was one of the coolest things I've read in a couple of years.
And it certainly does not hurt that Doug Mahnke drew it.
No. This is
he's
like
another dude, man.
Good Mahnke. There's sometimes when he's like Doug Mahnke's rushed, it'll get really, really sketchy and really liney.
Yeah.
But this is like super tight. I think he used to. Yeah, I think I love this book. I could give this book to literally anybody. The first sequence of it's Batman in this ship. Yeah. There's a derelict ship in space, and then these soldiers have to kind of board it and find out what's going on. The leading up to the reveal is the funniest scene. Like these monsters take their masks off, and then you start to hear Batman start strategizing, and there's just a really good punchline to that scene, and it made me very happy.
Yeah, you pulled me aside just to show it to me.
Yeah.
I had not read the book yet, and you're like, read this.
Yeah, just read this. Read these 2 panels.
Yeah, this is great. And I went, oh yeah, now I'm excited.
Yeah,
for sure.
Jason Aaron, he did something similar like this with some of the Avengers runs, where he'll take very silly concepts and then kind of make it as tonally playful but grounded as possible. And that's this entire book.
Pretty metal.
It's very metal.
Jason Aaron does very metal things.
Mm-hmm.
Very metal comics. Shout out to Punchbot.
Punchbot.
I love Punchbot. Punchbot.
Give me some Punchbot action figures.
Is my favorite character in this book.
Yeah. So like I think this book wasn't necessarily. It was obviously on our radar because we like Jason Aaron, but I feel like this book in general hasn't really been talked about much, and it's off people's radars. There's a couple of extra copies at the shop. I've been trying to push it on people. Like, look, it's a mini series. It's not a huge commitment. It's incredibly fun. Yeah. Give it a shot, and I'm hoping to hear some good feedback. This book was awesome, absolutely awesome.
Ditto. And what are you looking forward to this week?
Oh, I'm looking forward to getting caught. I've been off a couple of weeks, so I'm looking forward to getting caught up on stuff. I want to get caught up on. Penguin, Tom King's Penguin. I'm 2 issues behind. I need to get caught up on my massive verse.
Oh my god!
While I was away, I got caught up on The Dead Lucky, and I got caught up on Rogue Sun, but I need to get caught up on Radiant Black and No One.
Yeah.
There's probably 50 other things. I want to read Holy Roller. I missed that last week.
By Andy.
It's Rick Remender and Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's something else. Batman 89 looks kind of fun again.
Yeah. There's a second comic book series.
Yeah, Batman
for
89.
Batman 1989.
Echoes. Looks like I don't want to get caught up on Superman. When's the most recent issues of that?
I think there's 7 or 8 issues so far. Yeah.
But coming out this week, Penguin.
Yeah.
Penguin and some Massiverse Johns.
I'm gonna get caught up on Titans.
Yeah, get in there.
Yeah, it's this event that kicked off is I gotta go catch up on.
Get in there. They're very breezy reads.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us, and we'll talk at you later.
Thank you for listening to the CultPop Network, home to podcasts, live shows, and a whole lot of fun stuff for every flavor of fan. Follow us wherever you find your favorite podcasts, and be sure to join us live every Wednesday night at youtube.com/CultPopGo at 8 p.m. Eastern. While you're there, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you'll know when we drop new Thunder Rounds and episodes of Fresh Floppies, a spoiler-free show about single-issue comics released each week. Until then, we'll talk at you later.